The public school system, I've talked a lot about how the public school system really has deteriorated over the last 80 and 90 years at an incredible rate, and it just keeps getting worse all the time. But public schools, they actually kill the desire to learn. So students don't have this willingness to learn. So I'm just going to highlight 6 ways that they do this. And then I'm also going to share some ways that homeschoolers, a home education program where students are able to get in there with their parents and just learn, just study, learn what's interesting to them and be able to figure out how the world works and read the great books and do all those wonderful things. I'm going to share those 6 things that homeschool does to build desire as well. So let's go through this. Let's start with public schools kill desire by the first one I've got here is just wasting time. We waste so much time in public schools. Just processing students takes so much time. And a lot of public schools have big classes, big class sizes, which causes the teachers to spend a lot of time just doing administrative work and a lot of time just managing behavior, and they're not actually teaching. This is a huge problem in our public schools across the board. And quite frankly, it exhausts the teachers. It wears them out. They're struggling. So number two is push-ins. So there's been a big movement. A lot of this, this is all government driven, um, and and I understand the reasoning behind it, and there's a big push for it. I think among certain parts of our society. But the push-ins is this concept of they're pushing in special ed students into the normal regular classrooms. And I know this is a really sensitive topic, and I know people have a lot of strong feelings on this. And my purpose here isn't to try to understand every person's individualized special education needs, which there's hundreds of them, and it would be impossible for me to go through all of them. But the challenge is that teachers are already stretched thin. They already have big classes. They already have a wide spectrum of students that they have to teach to, and then if you have special needs students that come in that have all sorts of different needs, the challenges with this push-in is that the teachers just don't have the resources or the support that they need. And if they do, it's an exception rather than the rule. And so it's a huge problem, and it's causing more burnout among teachers. And some of the argument for it is that the special needs students, you want to feel included with with other students that are in the normal classrooms, and I get that. That makes sense. I can see how that would be a benefit. But there are challenges that come with that type of forced socialization too. Um, so arguments can go either way on this, but the main point here that I'm making is that teachers are struggling already, and then if you put special needs students in there with them without proper resources, it becomes a huge time crunch. It's a huge effort. It can be exhausting for the teachers. Okay, then we're going to go to number 3. So teachers, when they're teaching in a big classroom like that, they're searching for equilibrium. So they're trying to figure out how to best benefit the largest number of students. And so what that means is the top students get bored, their needs aren't being met, and the bottom students get left behind, is what inevitably happens. And, teachers will work 12, 13-hour days to try to accommodate all the students, but they eventually get burned out. And it's not good, it's not healthy. A lot of teachers are just quitting and going to jobs that pay a lot better, and it's a mess. Okay, so number 4, ignoring cardinal virtues. So this is a big one with the public schools. They just don't teach the virtues anymore, especially the cardinal ones. And the cardinal virtues are responsible for the the moral motivation that students need in order to be consecrated students who are dedicated and have a desire, a willingness to learn, an easiness to learn. They need to have that moral reasoning within them for why they're going to do what they're going to do. Why are they going to put so much effort into their education? Well, that's what the great books teach. They teach the morality of being a human being. They teach the morality of who we are and how society best functions. They teach the beauty of God's plan for them, and it goes on and on. Now, let's move on to number 5 here. So number 5 is in the public schools, they have huge overstructured days that leave little time for unstructured learning exploration. and this is across the board. What what's boggling to my mind is how they keep pushing the age down and down to younger and younger ages. We're getting to the point where we're almost like China, where as soon as they're born, they're put into a state institution, and then you're having children, at age 3 and 4 who are, being dumped off with a teacher and being put into the school system, or some sort of program. And really, we're forcing this fact-fed conveyor belt system into our younger and younger children, which quite frankly, to me, is reminiscent of some of the Nazi youth programs and childcare programs that were being instituted during the Nazi socialist regime that caused World War II under Hitler. But I digress. But public schools are just way too overstructured. Students don't have free time. They're so structured, they feel like they're in prison, and it just kills their desire to learn. It kills their willingness to learn. Okay, so let's move on to number 6. And in public schools, they have a very passive learning model. Teachers are just dumping facts into them. They're opening their heads and just dumping the facts in and requiring them to memorize them. It's kind of force-fed system. Here it comes down the conveyor belt. You better process it as it comes by because it's not going to last very long. So it's very passive learning. The students are being acted upon instead of acting for themselves, and that kills desire. It kills that willingness to learn.